What's up, guys? Look at this, 2 videos back to back. We are crushing right now. So like I said, I've been wanting to get back to like a more regular schedule with launching these videos. Today we are going to be talking about the relationship of your DLoop length versus your draw length, and kind of how you can essentially manipulate your alignment or your hold, or just the feel of your body at full draw with the loop length versus the draw length. I get probably 100 videos a month of people sending me saying, hey, can you take a look at my draw length? I don't know if I'm too long or too short. And honestly, usually it looks good to me in a picture. In a picture or a video, it's hard for me to really see the details. I can't see it from all different angles. But I've made a video on what I consider like proper draw length before. And really that's going to come down to this front half and where that string hits me on the face. So I want to be able to have a low shoulder, just a natural bend in that arm. And what I mean by that is if my arm's at my side and I bring it straight up, keeping that shoulder down, boom, that's where I'm strongest. So I'm not locked out here, but I'm not bent like this either. In terms of the string position, when I get my front half to that point, when I come to full draw, I should be able to not have to move my head to the string or bring it back to the string. Should be able to bring that hand right in, have a nice light touch on the tip of my nose, have that string come right by the corner of my mouth and stop, about a ½ inch past the corner of my mouth, kind of right here on my chin. What I have noticed, so I've been shooting this Matthews, this is the V3X33, but I shot the Traverse before this. For whatever reason, just with their draw length mods, a 30, so let me back up. I used to always run a loop that was basically 3/4 of an inch, or very close to, maybe 16th over or 16th under, whatever, but more or less 3/4 of an inch. And what I always found was that I liked the way my front half felt. Everything felt really good there. I liked the way the string contacted my face, but my back half just felt like I was like fighting it. Like my body wanted to be able to get just that extra little bit further back. But when I would lengthen the draw length, if I kept my front half the same and didn't overextend my front half, now my backhand was in a good position, but I had more face contact on the string because it pulled the whole, I'm using my finger as the string here, it pulled that whole string another ½ inch back. Now face pressure is kind of your enemy in archery. Especially with these compound bows nowadays with some of, they're 80 to 90% let off. There's very little pressure on that string. The more contact and pressure I put on that string, the less consistency I have with the way that arrow comes out of the bow. So my solution to that was, okay, again, I like where my front half is. I like where the string is hitting me, but I want this rear hand to be able to come back another 1/4 of an inch. So I just lengthened my D-loop. So now, like this D-loop is 1.25 inches, which is longer than most, but it's not like crazy long. It's not like it's sitting here flopping around. And what that allowed me to do was get that hand, just that extra 1/4 inch back, which allowed that back shoulder to get down a little bit. And it immediately improved my hold. I was way more comfortable at full draw. My pin went from kind of a jittery bounce to a much duller float, especially once you get, 30, 40, 50 arrows into a round. I would notice it, when I had the shorter D-loop and felt a little scrunched, as I started to fatigue, I would just get this jittery, like if you're trying to, like when you're bench pressing or something on that last rep and it's that like, trying to get it up. That's kind of what it would feel like. So by lengthening my D-loop, I effectively was able to change that position of my backhand without messing with my front arm or that string position on my face. Now, on the flip side of that, like let's say you're same scenario. Your front half feels good. You like where the string is hitting you, but you just feel like this back half, like you don't have a solid connection, like your hand is just, barely contacting your cheek there, and you feel like this back elbow is chicken wing or dipping down like this. Then you would shorten your D-loop. Again, the string and your front arm will stay in the same position, but it'll bring that hand and that elbow up tighter against your face, and you'll be more comfortable. So again, you effectively are lengthening your overall draw length, but you're not doing it in the modules. You know, some bows these days do have 1/4 inch draw length adjustments. Most are still 1/2 inch, and while it doesn't, 1/2 inch doesn't sound like a lot, it feels like a mile when you're shooting. So that was, you know, a breakthrough for me, was like really playing with that D loop. And different bows, you know, the Traverse and this bow are both 33 inches axle to axle, so I'm running the same length on them. On a little bit longer bow, I don't need that, like, the D-loop length that's comfortable is different. So it takes some playing around. What I would recommend doing is, if you can get like a little pick or something in here and loosen up these knots, and you're able to take off your loop from your string without cutting it, then you can make, you know, 3 or 4 more loops that are just incrementally like 1/8 of an inch longer, and tie them on and see which one feels best. Like I said, this shouldn't mess with your peep height, because again, if I lengthen my loop and then just extend my front arm more, I haven't changed anything. Now I'm just overextended in the front. So you got to keep everything else the same and just allow that back hand to change position slightly. So it shouldn't change your peep height. It shouldn't change your, you know, your like sight or anything like that. It's just going to be a comfort thing, and allow the alignment of your body to change that tiny little bit, which may help you hold better, shoot better, all of the above. So it's something you got to play around with. There is no right or wrong answer. I mean, look at Tim Gillingham. That guy shoots like a 3-inch D-loop because he's got a 34-inch draw. And I think the bow only goes to 33. So for him to get his hand back to where he needs it, he's got to shoot a really long D-loop. Doesn't hurt anything. He sets world records. I mean, obviously, it's just fine. So I hope that clarifies that a little bit. It's something to monkey around with if you're at home and you got some extra D-loop material. Like I said, take your old one off, measure it, make a new one that's just a little bit longer than it, or a couple that are incrementally longer, tie them on, and just see if you notice a difference. If that didn't make sense, feel free to ask any questions in the comment section below, or go to inside_out_precision on Instagram. I tried my best to get to all the DMs that I get, but I get a lot of questions, and sometimes things just get buried. So if you don't hear from me after a couple days, you know, shoot me another message, and I will do my best to get back to you. So thanks for taking time to watch this video. Remember, precision is a decision. Keep them in the middle. I'll see you on the range.